Hello, everybody. Listening to the Fair Weather Podcast. It's your boy 2K Suave. I am here with my dog A Rod, Bobby Bitch, Bobby Schmurder, Bobby Portis in the flesh. Deer in headlights no more. The Bucks have finally won that chip in the first time in 50 years. We're gonna celebrate them today. How we doing, A Rod?
Doing good, man. I think we both predicted this wrong, and we owe Giannis an
Oh
apology
no,
for.
no, no, no. I didn't predict this wrong.
We
I
were all
got I have the receipts. I can show you. I'll show you the text. My cousin asked me on June 6th at 8:48 p.m. right before the game started. I said, I don't know why everyone's picking the Suns. I personally feel like the size of the Bucks will be the reason why they win. And I said Bobby Portis would be the X factor. I predicted this.
I think it's a 50-50. I think we both said that in the beginning. We were both like the Bucks have the size, but they're always taking 3-point shots. And
No, we both trashed how they play. Could we Budenholzer is a terrible coach. I still feel the same way about Coach Bud, but
yeah,
I had Milwaukee winning the whole time. I will show you the receipts. I wasn't on that bandwagon. Even when they went down 0-2, I wasn't concerned. I was like, they're gonna go
you
ahead.
weren't, you weren't
They
such
got
a boy.
and when they went back to Milwaukee, I was like, Milwaukee in 6. I was on that bandwagon. I was like, they're gonna win the next 4 because I remember I saw this dude play with a hyperextended knee in game 1. I was like, there's no quote unquote. It looked bad, bro. You know that
Man,
looked bad.
that boy
I
played pretty good.
I, I genuinely was nervous. I was like, he tore his ACL, and he came back a week later. And we gonna get into it. We gonna get into it.
Yeah, let's go with a rundown of stuff first. So it's episode, what is it? We're on 429 now for season two. We'll give you a
Season two,
finals
episode
four,
4.
29, whatever you want to call it.
Whatever. We'll do those numbers when we get to a cool number like 50, 100, 250,
Um,
a
so
thousand.
we'll go on a finals recap. We'll talk about Giannis's unbelievable performance in Game 6, which was probably one of the best finals performances you got to see. Um, we'll talk about uh, Chris Paul and the Suns and how they crumbled. We'll also just talk a little bit more about that, about everything that went on in the aspects of the finals. We'll also talk about the NBA preview, 22 preview. Uh, can the Bucks still be relevant and get back to the Eastern Conference Finals? We'll talk draft really quick. We'll talk free agent landings. We'll talk predictions, things like that. Just really, really far out predictions on this
Way
before.
too early, but whatever.
Yeah, super, super early. So, and then our last topic we're going to talk about is the Olympic disaster that's going on, harsh living conditions over in the Olympics. This is going to happen. Once again, the Olympics mess everything up again. So we don't know if there's going to be a 2021 Olympics. It's still up in the air. So we'll just discuss and break that down a little bit. And then for our fun segment, since the Seattle Krakens today are having their draft at 8 o'clock, we decided to do top 5 best expansion teams of the modern era, since I guess every team pretty much becomes an expansion team in a way, but we'll just say with like the modern era from like the mid 80s on forward, newer teams
You got
that
it.
aren't,
You got it.
that aren't accustomed to being part of the original program of the league.
For
So
example, like the Bears are an original team. The
yeah,
Packers are an original team. The
yeah.
Giants are original team. That's
Like
you know
example, there would be the Jaguars or the Carolina Panthers, something
stuff
like
like
that.
that. Exactly.
So we'll break
Cool.
that down. So yeah, let's jump into the show. We get to see.
Question:
Yeah,
Have you watched Space Jam 2 yet?
I have watched Space Jam 2.
I liked it actually.
I did too. I
My
enjoyed it.
my expectations were very low, so it completely exceeded my expectations. I think if you guys have kids or whatever, and you like to show them a nice little basketball movie for the family, I think it was a very good movie. To be honest
Yeah,
with
we have to think that when we were kids, like that's when we went to go see Space Jam.
you.
We
Right.
were in the prime of liking basketball. Uh, Michael Jordan was just coming back to the NBA. Looney Tunes, I guess, were falling off. So Warner Brothers made it marketable for them to team up with Michael Jordan and save the world. So same thing. It's just now we're adults now looking at it as critiquing this, saying, "Oh, how are you going to beat Michael Jordan?" But
Bro, I'm so sick of y'all people
Yeah, it's
Y'all really out here trying to give Rotten Tomatoes and critique LeBron's acting skills. He's a basketball player in
yeah.
a movie with CGI and animation. Like, what do you want him to do? Y'all be tripping, man. Y'all just, people love to hate, and they find every reason to hate LeBron. I don't personally understand. You know what I mean? Sucks to be great, you feel me? But I liked it.
I did too. It was enjoyable. It was cool the way they did it. We don't want to make any spoilers on here, but if you haven't watched it by now, go watch it. It was entertaining. It was good. It wasn't a complete flop. It's different storyline than the first Space Jam was good, and you got to see some reoccurring characters in it, which was kind of cool. Some characters you wouldn't expect. Funny segments, everything through the Warner Brothers verse, which is pretty cool too.
Cool. Yeah, that was my favorite part about it.
Yeah, and
I was
then
like, wow, they bringing back a lot of cool stuff, and I'm like, damn, Warner Brothers did that too. But yeah, that part was dope.
and then they made it relatable for what the son wanted to do for a lot of kids now that they're into that type of thing. So we don't want
Yeah.
to spoil anything if you haven't seen it yet. So go watch the movie. It's really good. HBO Max. If you're into pirating things, I'm sure you can find it and pirate it if you want.
Hey, well, no, we don't promote that kind of stuff, guys. We do not promote that kind of stuff. That is illegal. Please pay for it, $14.99 a month, whatever HBO Max is. We got it free over my way.
KK doesn't promote it, but go pirate it. I don't care.
Nah. I don't promote that.
Go watch it.
The feds is watching, like 2 Chainz.
Stay right where you are. All right, let's jump into the finals recap, man. So obviously the Milwaukee Bucks have done something they haven't done in 50 plus years. They win
50 years to be exact, actually.
Is it exact? All right. So
exactly 50 years.
They win the NBA championship. A lot of people were kind of writing Giannis and them out of the books. And they put on a hell of a show. Close games, winning it down low as big men. We were trashing him in the beginning saying, why so many 3-point shots? It didn't make any sense. The Suns looked so good in the first 2 games, the way they were winning against the Bucks, and then just fell apart when it came down to the end. But he's the reigning MVP, 2-time MVP for a reason, and defensive player. You got to see a lot of great plays on his end, and not to take anything away from Chris Middleton, because before the last game, Chris Middleton was my finals MVP until the last game where you got to see probably the greatest performance by one player in a game. So many game pivotal changing events happen because of Giannis, with the blocks, with the scoring, with the down low dunking. The game before with the alley-oop from Drew Holiday was just so.
I mean, that just brought chills right through my back. I was like,
It did. And he's a guy that you can't hate. Like, you can't hate Giannis. There's nothing to hate about him. He's a very fun, loving, family-oriented person, very humble too. And it's kind of piggybacking off the segment that we did with the rise of international players. Here comes another one that wins finals MVP.
True. Very true.
There's a long list of them now. You've got Tim Duncan, you've got Hakeem Olajuwon, you've got Dirk Nowitzki, you've got I think Tony Parker won one. You've got Giannis. That's a whole bunch right there, right off the rip.
Antetokounmpo, Nigerian, Greek freaky if you want to call him Greek, but that's a Nigerian nightmare.
That is. Hakeem Olajuwon said something about him that was really cool too.
He sure did.
That was super cool. He was like, they're from the same tribe in Nigeria.
Yoruba. We're Yoruba.
Yeah, so you would know better than me. So
I do, trust me.
So he said that his name, the sir of his name, means the king has returned from overseas. And
coming to America, the king had you can't listen, you can't this obviously there's gonna be a lot of Giannis praise for the next week or two, and it's gonna be just over the top. And some people deserve it, right? This is one of those NBA finals where I didn't really have a dog in the fight. I'm a Sixers fan. When we're not doing well, I cheer for LeBron, and those are my 2 dogs in the fight. You're a Knicks fan, and
Bobby Portis, bitch. Let's go, baby.
And but whenever you don't really have a dog in the fight, you're gonna cheer for the underdog, or you're gonna cheer for the good story, or you're gonna cheer for the guy that just kind of deserves it, right? And Giannis is one of those dudes where, like, every really, really, if you think about it, for the most part, most really great players have to go through some kind of like heartbreak and adversity. Hence why I feel like this is actually going to be good for Devin Booker. Not to get ahead of ourselves, because I feel like he needed to go through this heartbreak. But for Giannis, I mean, you think about it, Magic Johnson and Tim Duncan are the only two superstars, like top tier superstars I can think of that won championships early on. Like Magic won it as a rookie. Tim Duncan, I think, was a second year player, if I'm not mistaken. And Giannis, I mean, he had the heartbreak of a couple years ago where they were up 2-0 on Toronto, and they built that wall and couldn't get it done. Then he goes to the bubble, and then Miami happens, and Miami just, I mean, they made at that point. That's when I thought Giannis might have to leave. I'm like, Giannis might need to go to a different team. But this year, they won at Miami in the first round, beat the brakes off of Miami. We were talking about it all year. We said the only team that could beat Brooklyn was Milwaukee. I know me and you've been ahead of that since February or January or whatever. The only team that can possibly beat Brooklyn was Milwaukee. Now, obviously, injuries didn't help Brooklyn, and Kevin Durant was all world in that series. But at the end of the day, Giannis was able to kind of just hold on just a little bit, got it to overtime, and did his thing in that overtime.
Winners win, bro.
Winners win, exactly. And then the Atlanta series, Trae Young obviously was hurt for a couple games, but I mean, so was Giannis, and we thought this Cinderella story basically would come to an end when he came down on the alley-oop, playing defense, and his knee buckled, and we thought that was it, right? This man, who's that guy who played for the Knicks, Willis Reed? Mm-hmm. This man Willis Reed his way into game one. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. He came into game one. He got his feet.
Game one.
Huh?
He didn't have a memorable game one.
Well, he didn't. He didn't even know he was going to play, right?
Yeah.
He got on the court. He still had 20 and like 15, 10, 20 and 12 or something like that. And game two, they lost as well, but he dominated game two, right? Mm-hmm. So because when he dominated game two, that's when I kind of actually realized they're going to win that series. Why? I felt like Milwaukee they just needed to get some home cooking. Drew needed to go home. Chris Middleton needed to get home. Connaughton needed to get home. Bobby Portis, all these guys, they were missing. They were just not playing with the same sense of focus. And I think my thought was that if they won game three, I think they figured something out, and they figured it out. Drew Holiday is an amazing defender. He should be first team all defense every season. There should never be a debate about that. I mean, he's putting clamps on Chris Paul, and then he said, all right, they said go get Devin Booker. He put clamps on Devin Booker. And then Chris Middleton, like you said, he and you and other people thought Chris Middleton was probably MVP for a little bit. I never felt that way. I feel like, just because you help close doesn't make you the MVP, but that's neither here nor there. But Chris Middleton stepped up when he needed to. And then the size. I said, it's on the Twitter feed, guys. If you want to go see it, I quoted myself and retweeted myself just so y'all know that I wasn't playing. I put this in game one. I said, honestly, Milwaukee should be the favorite. Why? Because they're too big. They got Giannis, they got Brook, and you saw Brook Lopez put homie on that poster. DeAndre Ayton.
Turn back the clock.
He turned back the hell out of it. He looked like Stanford. He's dunking, and then Bobby Portis with the crazy eyes and the rebounds and the three. I'm like, yo, there's too much. And then Connaughton was getting like 7 rebounds a game. PJ Tucker was getting like 7. It got to a point in which Phoenix was too small. They're a jump shooting team. They were not able to get to the free throw line. And DeAndre Ayton looked like a rookie. And
first 2 games, he looked good, and then he just disappeared.
That home crowd, man, was something. They made him look. I heard people call him David Robinson, and what did you say, Hakeem?
Your boy said Hakeem.
Who's
I heard
my boy?
Shaq comparisons. Your boy on the Twitter feed.
Oh Lord, I was like Hakeem, David Robinson. Y'all need to chill the hell out.
They said Shaq comparisons 2 weeks ago. Said a young Shaq, the way he moves.
And I love DeAndre Ayton. Don't get me wrong. He's like a third Nigerian too. By the way, we got Nigerians all through the NBA.
He's the same as Devin Booker. Like, this is a good learning curve.
Yeah, bro. Think about it. Phoenix hadn't been in the playoffs in 10 years, and their first trip to the playoffs are in the NBA Finals. Book's never been there. DeAndre never been there. Chris Paul's had heartbreak after heartbreak. And the only other guy that's had experience was Jay Crowder. And let's be honest, Jay Crowder is okay, but he's not like, I'm not. I mean, Mikal Bridges is young. Cameron Payne is young. I mean, they're a young bunch of guys. The fact that they got this far, honestly, was a Cinderella story in itself. So I think they just became like the popular team to pick because everyone thought it was Chris Paul's time. I mean, I know for a second I thought it was their time. I know you thought it was his time as well. But Giannis, the Greek freak, nah, bro, he wasn't having it.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Paul was easily deserved of it too. He's deserving of a ring, but the Chris Paul ring watch still continues. It sucks. You know, people were ragging on him for his bad game 5 and 4, but game 6 he stepped up. In my opinion, there was some missed shots, but that wasn't on him. Devin Booker missed more shots than anybody out there, and he's your easy money sniper out there every time.
Chris Paul had a great game 6, honestly. If you want to go back and look at the tape and the stats and everything, Chris Paul had a great, his normal Chris Paul game. It was like you were saying with DeAndre Ayton and Booker.
Yeah, they became obsolete when Cameron Johnson is like your second leading scorer or Jay Crowder. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder is a good guy in your starting lineup, but
I can't stand Crowder.
I got no beef with the guy, man. I just think that he's a guy to have on your offense. He's kind of like, in my opinion, he's like a PJ Tucker. He can be in the starting lineup and facilitate the things you needed him to do. And if you need him to score, I mean, he can score, but he's not like your go-to guy. He's not going to be one of those options. Yeah. But if he's out there, I saw that man hit so many 3-pointers when he needed to hit them, and he was automatic.
He was hitting them. Like, honestly, he's the reason why he even went 6. They could have lost the series in 5 if you ask me. But Crowder to me, he came in and he was hitting these threes wide open. Like, for whatever reason, he found a way to always be wide open. I'm like, bro, are y'all not gonna put a body on him? He's making these shots. He's obviously confident.
That's the thing, man. But it's
he led their team in rebounds yesterday. Jay Crowder. DeAndre Ayton went 12 and 6, and he played 38 minutes or something like that.
Yeah,
how you go 12 and 6?
It's a learning curve for these guys, man. They got to get it together. And you hate to see it happen to Monty Williams because he's such a nice guy too.
Oh, you saw he went to that locker room?
He went to the locker room. He cried during his thing. Dude, his wife passed away in a car accident.
No.
He's got so many things going, like, I don't want to say against him. He's got a lot of things going for him now, but you want to root for a guy like that. He's a player's coach. The young guys like him. He's not too old either. Jeff Van Gundy coached him. Mark Jackson played with him.
He's a former NBA player. Like, people love to play for former players. It's like they can relate. And like, I was hearing this comparison. I've heard, I think I heard Rich Eisen say it. I heard Jeff Van Gundy say it as well. They compared him to Tony Dungy, and I was like, perfect. I mean, that's the perfect comparison. Just two really stand-up guys. Really, really into their faith. Both had tragedy that happened into their lives, but didn't affect their coaching. Guys, rally around them and want to play for them. I was like, that is. I mean, we need more Monty Williams in the NBA. I mean, Coach Bud, as much crap as I give him, I mean, he's not a bad guy either. So I feel like this was a series where there was really nobody that you just hated. Like, some people may hate like Jay Crowder or PJ Tucker, but outside of that, I mean, who do you really just?
There wasn't any. It was just for marketing purposes. It wasn't a marketing purpose thing. Like, nobody was like, I really want to go to Milwaukee to watch this, except Chris Tucker, who goes to every NBA Finals. That's the only guy that I know who would do that. Stars were out though. I mean, Dave Chappelle was there, Larry Fitzgerald was there, a lot of dudes was there, but it was just, in my opinion, it wasn't a boring finals. I'll say that.
Oh, not at all.
Not a boring finals.
Game 4, 5, and 6, high level basketball throughout, and I was like on the edge of my seat the whole time, like, oh, what's gonna happen next?
And the funny part is the shit that we predicted was rectified and fixed. Like, they fixed it.
Yeah.
All those stupid 3-point shots they were taking in game 1 and game 2, we were just like, play low or develop.
What did we say?
And sure enough, they did it.
It's so simple. I'm like, yo, you have 3 guys who are about 7 feet, And Giannis is not somebody who can be guarded one-on-one, period. Brook Lopez is long, and he has a lot of finesse around the basket. And Bobby Portis is a psychopath. Why wouldn't you play inside? Why wouldn't you?
So with that being said, what is the reason that you think that the Suns imploded? Because game 1 and 2, they were going with a full head of steam. You know, they were giving the Giannis the countdown at the free throw line. Suns in 4 was the chant once again, and they just crumbled. What do you think it is? I mean, I got a good idea. I think it's more youth is what the problem is. It's just youth, and we say it all the time that age in the NBA is going to get you more push through the final to like deeper into the finals run or deeper into the playoffs. So that's my personal thing that I think it is, because obviously Brook Lopez has been to the playoffs before.
But he was the best player on Brooklyn for a while.
Yeah, and I mean he went there with the Lakers too. With I think was Kobe there or no? Kobe wasn't there.
No, this is towards the end.
Yeah.
So this is like a couple years ago that he ended up in Milwaukee.
Yeah. So he's been to the playoffs before with Milwaukee, with Brooklyn. Bobby's been there with the Bulls before. PJ Tucker's obviously been there in it day in and day out.
With the
Rockets.
Rockets.
A lot of guys on that team that have. Giannis has been there. Middleton's been there. This is the first taste for a lot of the guys on the Suns. And Cam Payne, I know, has been there, but he hasn't gotten any playing time. Like
he wasn't really there.
Yeah. So,
I mean, to answer your question, it was a combination of a few things. Number one, Giannis Antetokounmpo. They had no answer for him. Now, what other teams did to defend him better, they actually built a wall. They ain't try to build no wall in Phoenix. So I can put some of that on Monty Williams, which I hate to do because I like Monty Williams, a good dude. You know, I know when we had Loso on, we did our awards and we all picked Monty Williams to be our coach of the year. You know, we gotta love Monty Williams, a good dude, but Giannis averaged 35, 13, and 5 assists. We were talking about this before, when we were talking about all like whose legacy this helps more. I was like, you know, it helps Chris Paul, it would help Chris Paul's legacy more. And then we got into the conversation about Giannis, and I was like, you know, as much as we were trying to kind of diminish what he's done, you mentioned it, like he is writing a Michael Jordan Hall of Fame. His resume is crazy.
He's Michael Jordan, but fuck it. He's checking off boxes Michael has.
He's checking off every box, and it's crazy. And I know we like to find flaws because his game is not sexy, but he's a big man. He just happens to have a little bit of handle. And you know, we get into this whole conversation about best player in the NBA and most remember Shaq was the most dominant player ever, right? That's what everyone consensually always said. Who was the most dominant player of all time? Oh, Shaq. Giannis is more towards that path. He may not ever be the best player in the NBA. I mean, he could be. If he starts getting the 18-footer and a three-point shot, it's over for the league. Honestly. Honestly, if he gets a jump shot, there's nothing the league can do about him. But right now, he's on that path of being the most dominant player. Shaq co-signed it too. Shaq never wanted to call Dwight Howard Superman. No. He called Giannis Superman, okay? This man is a dominant force. So to me, they didn't have any answers for him. So that's the number one reason. Number two, to me, it's more of what Milwaukee did. It had nothing to do with Phoenix, because Phoenix in games 4, 5, and 6, they were right there. They should have won game 4, but they imploded at the end. Youth has a lot to do with that. Game 5 was right there for the taking. Game 5, they were up 16 points in the first quarter. Should have won that game. But Milwaukee, Chris Middleton, and then Jrue Holiday. That was my other one. Jrue Holiday, I know we talk about Middleton a lot as being their second guy. Jrue Holiday changed the series. And now you see the difference between Eric Bledsoe and Jrue Holiday. Eric Bledsoe, if they still had Eric Bledsoe, I promise you they would have got swept. Promise you that.
The thing about Jrue Holiday that helped is, like, we know him as an all-star player for his scoring in Philadelphia, and when he went to the Pelicans. He was a scorer and all around like their best player there.
He's always been this top tier defensive player. It's always been like that.
Yeah, but like there were just so many pivotal steals that he had that he's in the right spot all the time.
Because he watches film. You could tell he watches film.
And he knows how to like not draw a foul.
Great. No, think about it. The whole Milwaukee team knows how not to draw fouls. Like how aggressively that they play and all the rebounds that they get. They know how to just like PJ Tucker. He had some phantom calls called on him, but PJ Tucker to me was playing a lot, very good defense. Giannis, all his flying in the air that he does, he does not pick up that many fouls. And then Drew Holiday, that won game 5 where Devin Booker was going for the game-winning shot. Drew just snatched it from him. I mean, it was a clean rip.
And he complained. That's like your big mistake. Don't complain. Go on defense, bro. Shit happens.
Yeah, it showed. It showed.
So youth is a big thing.
It's the youth.
And definitely the man behind you, man. There's no answer for that.
Yeah,
cheat code. It's definitely a cheat code to have.
I mean, seriously, I played against him on 2K, and Giannis is hard to stop in 2K, man. I don't have no answers for him. Yeah, so if you're that good in a video game, there's a reason why he's that good in real life.
It's like that year Steph Curry was shooting like crazy numbers from the 3-point line, and his 2K rating was like, I think he was better than his 2K rating.
Exactly. It was. Sometimes you get those, and we got to talk about Giannis again. I'm sorry, I'm a huge Giannis fan today because of how much right now I hate Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons could be just like this if he just tried hard. But we've been talking about his free throw shooting for the longest time. That's been the common thing. That's why I couldn't put him ahead of, we're talking about all-time power forward. I'm like, there's no way he can't shoot free throws and this and that. And but he went 17 for 19 yesterday. He looked like Steph Curry. I'm like, bro, what the hell am I watching right now? He's 17 of 19.
He wasn't in Phoenix either, and he wanted it,
bro.
He wanted it.
He was like, I will go to the free throw. Like that's a difference. You can tell when someone's not scared. I mean, the dude is in the paint playing aggressive, meaning you have to foul me or I'm going to dunk on you. Didn't bother him.
The thing is, and I love Chris Paul, but I also think Chris Paul is the most pettiest player in the NBA. When Chris Paul said, like, we know he's going to miss him, and he even knows he's going to miss him. Once again, that's where, like we say, commentating fucks up like scenarios or players shoot themselves in the foot. Chris Paul, just play the game, bro.
What's a Jordan meme?
Exactly.
He took that personally.
He took it personally.
Giannis took that personally. He was like, yeah, this I can't shoot free throws. I made my freaking free throws. I was like, yeah, you did. You sure did, Giannis. So
yeah, I'm happy for him. It's another great chapter because the whole family is basketball will always be just like baseball to me. It's always a love story, and you get to see.
I mean, that's sports in general, honestly.
I don't get that with football. I get it more with baseball and with basketball.
You don't get it with football. Do you not? You don't get it with football. You don't be seeing where they be. Bro, football players, they be coming from nothing, bro. And they're crazy. They're crazy enough to want to play football.
It's the same story, carbon copy all over everybody. But with Giannis and the brothers, like you come from overseas.
The brothers, yeah.
Basically panhandling in the streets, selling shit. Then you get picked up by some NBA coaching thing and they develop you into something. You come over here and you play in the NBA, you get drafted, and you all win. Like everybody's won, man.
All of them, bro. Like all three got
rings. And it's cool. It's cool to see that. It's a total like love story just in itself on the way that they came.
Absolutely.
So another question. Now that the Bucks have won the NBA championship, we always said that the East is just ridiculous this year. It's been a ridiculous roller coaster of teams. And we said the Nets are definitely the team to beat. Obviously, injuries, things like that played into stuff. It sucks.
Really quickly, let me say something. Remember how LeBron was in the East, right?
Yeah.
Every year you knew LeBron coming out the East. Ever since he left, Kawhi got one. Miami somehow got there. And now Giannis got himself one. Like, it's going to be a revolving door until one of them put their foot down, like, all right, this is my shit now. So we're going to see who that next guy is. But you remember that every year. Like, in the West, it was like the Lakers or the Spurs. The Lakers or the Spurs.
Yeah. Throw Dallas in there sometimes.
Dallas, and then Dallas had two little random appearances.
So And the Warriors. Can't forget the Warriors.
Well, this is now that's 2010, like later,
Yeah.
but the whole 2000s, it was
Yeah.
Spurs and the Lakers. Dallas had a couple, and then OKC, then Golden State happened. But yeah.
So now that they've won it, could you see them as the clear favorites again to go in the East next year?
So funny that you asked that. As of right now, the Vegas odds has Brooklyn.
And one more to piggyback off of that.
Yeah.
Could you see Milwaukee now as a marketable place since they did it without really a big three kind of per se? They went and got a Drew Holiday, and I mean they're three great players, but they didn't get three giant.
So
more homegrown talent, even though Middleton's been traded there from Detroit. He's been there 8 years with Giannis and done all that.
All right, let's look at since this Golden State aside, all right? 2019, who was the NBA champion?
What's that?
Who won the NBA championship in 2019?
Not the Lakers. It was
Toronto Raptors. It was Kawhi Leonard and kind of Kyle Lowry, not a big three.
And what's his name? Pascal Siakam.
Come on, man. Like that's not a big. No, like seriously though, that's not a big three. Like the whole concept of a big three. It was Kawhi, and it was Kyle Lowry to an extent.
It was a good team with adding a really good player that they needed.
2020, it was LeBron, it was AD. There's no third superstar there. And with the rest of it, which is a really solid team put together. Dwight played his role. JaVale played his role. Rondo played his role. KCP was the third leading scorer. He's not a star. Like, come on. Caruso. And now 2021, I know injuries have played a part in all of this, right? But still, the last three champions have not been a big three. So I think this whole narrative of they're the first team ever, like, no, this is not anything new. Like, Dallas wasn't a big three in 2011. Miami wasn't a big three in 2006.
I think the narrative on that is that Giannis stuck around and stayed legion, like faithful to Milwaukee and didn't move on when everybody else was like, I can't win here, or there was a hiccup in the negotiations in the contract, or they traded his best friend and he didn't want to be there anymore. So there was just comfortability with that, keeping Middleton, not moving on from Middleton, and then getting the small, tiny pieces until the two biggest things that they got for Giannis this year was a point guard, so he didn't have to keep bringing the ball up all the time.
Yeah, because Eric Bledsoe is not the answer.
Yeah. And PJ Tucker, I always say it, is just,
he was excellent. He's the excellent plus minus guy on the court. he's what analytics people love. Mm-hmm. All he shoots is corner threes and gets rebounds. Mm-hmm. He's the analytics dream 3-and-D player, right? But to me, this whole notion of, Milwaukee being a small market, like, look, listen. Toronto and Milwaukee are two of your last three championships. And Miami got to the finals last year with just Jimmy Butler, right? That wasn't a big three either. So I think this whole big three narrative has died ever since, because when KD went, now KD ended up getting James Harden with that, but when KD went to Brooklyn, I thought all big threes are honestly dead. There's no other really, think about who's the big three.
It's a two tandem now.
That's what it is. And Middleton is an all-star. Drew Holiday is an all-star and a first team all defensive player.
Brook Lopez is an all-star.
Brook Lopez used to be an all-star as well. So to me, I think it was a bit. Milwaukee has been the favorite to come out the East for the last 3 years, mind you, right? They fell on their face in 2019. Last year was just a weird year with the bubble, and then the shooting happened, and they wanted to, leave. They were not mentally supposed there last year, right? This year, they were mentally locked in. Health was on their side. They got here. So to me, Milwaukee, it shouldn't be a surprise that they got to the finals, let alone won. Can they be back next year? Right now, everything lies on the health of Brooklyn and what the hell is going to happen with Philly. Because it's still those three. Those three are the big-headed monster. It's Milwaukee, Brooklyn, and Philly. That's the three-headed monster. Atlanta had a magical season. I don't expect it to happen again next year where they're in the conference finals again. New York, you don't know what's going to happen. Who else is it? Boston and Miami are just tricky. You don't know. Mm-hmm. They can go either way. They got a brand new coach in Boston now. He's a first-year head coach now. Miami, I don't know what their identity is. It's Jimmy Butler and Bam, and then it's just a bunch of guys. So to me, it's those three, clear cut. If Brooklyn's healthy next year, I don't see why Brooklyn can't be in the finals. If Philly, if we somehow are able to get Damian Lillard, I don't see why we're not in the finals either. Or if Ben Simmons somehow figures something out, then maybe. But to me, it's a toss up between those three. And like I said, right now the favorites, Los Angeles and Brooklyn, are tied for first. Golden State somehow is third, and then Milwaukee is fourth.
Because they're expecting Clay to come back.
They're expecting Clay, and we know how that used to be, but it's not the same Clay and Draymond anymore. Steph is still Steph, but can they come out? I don't see why not. I mean, they're gonna make they got to figure out. I don't know what the contract situation is with PJ Tucker right now. Bobby Portis. I think they're probably all on 1 year deals. They have $90 million a year tied into their big three, quote unquote. So we got to figure out what's going to go on financially with that team. But if Brooklyn's healthy, I think Brooklyn comes out. Otherwise, Milwaukee's the best threat to that. So, and as far as them, what's the next question?
The next question was, are they marketable? Like, if you're a player now, like, would you want to go play for Milwaukee as opposed to going to Brooklyn? Because everyone sees Brooklyn as the easy path to a championship because you've got three superstars, obviously. But now you've got a reigning two-time MVP, a reigning Finals MVP, and now an NBA champion,
and a DPOY, Defensive Player of the Year,
and Defensive
All-Star MVP.
He's got everything checked. Jordan,
most improved player,
Jordan-esque on everything.
Jordan-esque.
Checking boxes, but you have him, his Scottie Pippen or Robin, whatever you want to call him, and Chris Middleton, who's been faithful to him, letting him take the shine when he needs to take the shine, and when he's not shining, they do it all the time. They say he's better than him. He's not better than Giannis, but when he needs to play his role, he plays it right. And then you went and got Jrue Holiday for how many years he's there, and they're gelling. They're gelling and they're playing good basketball. I mean, there's a lot of guys you got DiVincenzo when he comes back, who's young, who's a sharp shooter. I don't like Pat Connaughton, but he stays on the floor too much. But he gets the call.
He does what he's supposed. He knows. Listen, the secret to basketball, you need a superstar, you need a complementary star, and then you need a bunch of guys that just know their role. The problem that, for example, the Lakers had this year, Dennis Schroeder did not know his role. Dennis Schroeder's in a contract here. He thinks he's the best player on the team.
Should have been coming off the bench.
He didn't know his role, right? There's a certain teams that they got guys who just don't know their role. Like Milwaukee is like, and I heard who did I hear say? I think I heard Colin Cowherd say it, and I kind of agreed with him. They're San Antonio-esque. Like they got Tim Duncan was the focal point. The focal point here is Giannis, right? Mm-hmm. Ginobili and Tony Parker are two just underrated stars, right?
That's Jrue and Chris Middleton.
Jrue and Holiday and Chris Middleton are two underrated stars who play their roles perfectly. Middleton will not score a point in the first half, but you need him in the fourth quarter for a 3-minute stretch. He gonna get you 10 points in a row because he knows he can. And then Jrue Holiday knows I'm gonna guard him. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna do that. So you have your mega superstar and then two guys that know their role. All they need to do is keep filling in the pieces with just complementary players. They don't need to go get. The kind of free agents they're gonna get are gonna think about it. When they got PJ Tucker in that trade at the deadline, no, it was a buyout, right? It
was a buyout, yeah.
When they got PJ Tucker, I was like, man, that's actually a very good signing. Like that kind of signing where it's like it seems small in the moment, but when the playoffs start, you realize, damn, that was great. Jrue Holiday for Eric Bledsoe, that was perfect. Like two small moves, bringing in Bobby Portis, perfect. Like guys who know their role. That's what they can be. So they don't need to go attract anybody. They don't need to go try to do anything. Complementary players are going to want to play there. I mean, Milwaukee's not a horrible city. It's just, you look at their fans, like those fans are infectious. You want to play for a fan base like that where they're waiting for you outside and waiting for you inside. They're going to buy you McNuggets and 50-piece tenders, and they're going to take care of you in that city. So
There was a bar giving out how many free throws did he make? 17 or 19?
17.
Giving out 17 free shots for his performance.
Well, listen, and they got Packers players there always chugging, so you know you're gonna see maybe an Aaron Rodgers there.
Aaron
Maybe
Rodgers is a minority owner in them too.
he is. He got a championship last night. So to me, it's not like it's a. I mean, and they if you look at their history, I mean, they've always had Ray Allen. They had uh Michael Redd. They've had
Glenn Robinson, Sam Cassell,
exactly. They've always had really good. Do you remember those grueling series where my Sixers where Iverson was going up against Milwaukee? Like it was Milwaukee and then it was
the
Toronto.
Big Three in Milwaukee.
Bro, those were some good series. So Milwaukee has always been a semi-relevant team. They just finally broke through this year. That's all that happened. So guys are going to be playing in Milwaukee regardless. I mean, it's a good culture out there. So
I think well, to answer the question, I think it becomes more marketable. I think you can get better guys because if you look at the finals, I know they don't put like the entire roster out there, but I think they can attract more pieces now. I think there's going to be players that you can get.
Well, what kind of pieces would they even need to attract? Like they got the perfect pieces, and they're going to keep.
It all depends who stays and who goes. So, like to complement, like if PJ Tucker leaves, which I don't think he'll leave. I don't think PJ Tucker's going to demand a lot.
I mean, he's 35. I don't know if he wants to keep playing.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, if they want his services, hey, come back and come on this deal. I think they can keep him. Bobby Portis put on a show. Somebody might want to overpay for Bobby Portis. Now you got to pay for that. Get another guy to replace Bobby Portis.
And there's plenty of guys like that. You can get yourself a Jay Crowder very easily. You can get yourself
I'm just saying, I think now, before a lot of people were hesitant to go over there because they say, oh, you've got Giannis, that's cool. But y'all never go that far. Y'all got the hiccup.
I haven't heard that narrative.
I'm just going by from what I see. Like, this is the first year you saw Milwaukee finally spend and go get a Drew Holiday. When have they ever said, we're going to go get somebody? This is the first time they got Drew Holiday. And when we saw that, everybody's like, what's that going to do for you? You and I know, like, he's an exemplary number 3, a 2, lockdown defender, and he'll know his role on the court. Yeah. He's never been like the most talked about point guard. He's like Mike Conley. He's the most
they're cut from the same cloth. Yeah. But you think about it. Mike Conley chose to go to Utah, and to me, Utah and Milwaukee are just very similar. Like just teams that are always there, but they just need that extra veteran leadership. Mike Conley to me was perfect for Utah.
That's taking notice for stuff like that. That's people taking notice of that. Those are players that are noticeable of situations, and then there's players that you can say, hey, you're going to come over here, but you're going to take what Bobby Portis's role did, and you're going to do this. So
they're not going to attract a Durant or a Kyrie. But they're going to get the perfect B-level players.
Yeah, exactly. Like good players that fit around is what I'm saying.
And that's like. I mean, I've seen it. I mean, San Antonio has been doing that for years. Dallas has done a good job with that. Toronto has done a good job with that. So to me, it's like you see it happen. In Milwaukee, like I said, it's not Miami, it's not Los Angeles, it's not New York.
I feel like their signings are stupid all the time. Like they would go out and get like George Hill or somebody else, and I'm like, that's not what you need. Like it's I don't want to bring baseball. I'm just gonna say baseball quickly, like the Rays. Just go get Nelson Cruz and you'll win the World Series. All you need is someone that'll hit home runs, bring RBIs, and the Bucks needed a guy that could facilitate the point and another lockdown defender, and boom, look what you did. You did it.
Yeah, so, I agree with that point. I mean, I feel like, like I said, they're never gonna. I don't know for sure, but they're not gonna go attract a Durant or a Devin Booker. But they're gonna do a good, like this whole notion where the super team versus like the homegrown team. Like nobody on this Milwaukee team outside of Giannis was drafted by Milwaukee. Yeah. So this was a team that was built. Drew Holiday was a trade. Chris Middleton was a trade.
DiVincenzo wasn't, though. He was drafted.
All right, DiVincenzo. He didn't even play last in the series, but DiVincenzo. It's who else? It's DiVincenzo and it's Giannis. Drew Holiday, not Pat Bev. PJ Tucker, Bobby Portis, Brooke Lopez, Chris Middleton. Like they're all from other. So they did a good job bringing in players that were willing to buy in. None of this was built in Milwaukee. So I feel like that was a narrative that I keep hearing. I'm like, no, this wasn't built here. Like. They went and got these players because they've been building for this moment, and they finally broke through. They should have broke through 2 years ago and beat Toronto. If you think about it, so it's not like they've been brewing this for a while.
They have, but I just think like where they differ from other teams is they get the buy-in people to buy into this, and they're people who you want to see as like kind of like rejects in a way. Like Brook Lopez, when he went to the Lakers, we're like, oh, Brook Lopez is done now. There's no more gas left in Brook Lopez.
That was just a weird time in Lakers history. That's all.
It was very weird. And then you see Bobby Portis go to the Knicks, and he didn't have a bad season there, but you're like, Bobby Portis is gonna sucker in, and his time is done now. And
you got 40 power forwards on the roster as well. So what the hell is the point?
It makes no sense. But guys bought into that culture. But I think they become marketable. I think they can get like a good class of free agents, not obviously superstars or all-stars, but role playing,
which basketball is what all they need. They just need all they need.
That's all
quality
you need.
Role players.
You got your core. Now get the role players to put around it now.
Exactly. That know their role on top of that. That's the other thing.
And defend the O'Brien trophy, man. So
there you go.
Since we're still with NBA, let's talk NBA preview 22. We've been talking about the Bucks a long time. We didn't give the Suns any credit for anything, but
we pretty much said, think about it. Monty Williams came up short.
So do you think let's give a lay of the land for next year. We're gonna have hopefully a healthy LeBron James, hopefully a healthy AD, hopefully James Harden comes back after his little scare in France with the little weed pop that little baby had, and he's in NBA shape. Hopefully everybody's injuries that all happen towards the end of the season are all coming back. I know Kawhi Leonard probably won't play next year, but can the Suns? Do you think there's a pathway for the Suns to get back to the finals?
I think the Suns might not even make the playoffs next year.
Yeah, I think they'll make the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to the finals.
What do you think a better chance of it? Them going to the finals or them not making the playoffs?
Them not going to the finals. I think they'll make the playoffs. I think this is a big big learning curve for them, and
I agree.
But on my list of things to talk about are free agent landing spots, and Mr. CP3 is a free agent.
He's technically not a free agent yet. He can opt into his contract, and he's got 44. He's got 44 million coming his way.
But he already stated he will opt out of that contract,
and then they'll bring him back.
You think he'll come back, or he won't go somewhere else?
I mean,
I think the Lakers are going to.
Bro, in the last 4 years, he's been in Houston, OKC, and Phoenix. Literally in the last 4 years. You don't think he's tired of just moving all the time? Just stay ass and Phoenix and enjoy yourself. Or
he's got a home in LA.
What money are they going to give him? If he's going to, why would he turn down $44 million to go make $15 million?
Because he's got a ring, he's got endorsements, he's got the state.
Bro, $44 million.
We were promised, and you posted it. We were promised that team, and I want
Jam 3 with
Carmelo. I want that fucking team. I want
banana boat without D Wade.
Yeah, without a D Wade or Chris Bosh, man. But
Chris Bosh was actually never on that banana boat. It was Chris Paul, Carmelo, D Wade, and LeBron. Bosh got kicked out.
But Bosh is part of the clique too, though, man. Like
Bosh is not in that group chat. They got a separate group chat that included Bosh, but the four of them have a group chat. Whatever. Remember when they put up to D Wade's last game? Who was there? Chris Paul, LeBron, Carmelo, D Wade. Ain't no Bosh there.
Yeah, you're right. But that's the team we're promised, man. I mean, I could see them making a pitch to try and get him and pry him away. I don't know. Chris Paul is like tricky because like now teams are going to be bidding for him because they see what Chris Paul can do for you.
Well, that's the scary thing because I think if he's going to opt out, he's not opting in for a 1-year deal to chase a ring. He said the only reason why he was going to opt out was so he can sign a 3 or 4 year deal to take him to the length of his contract. I mean, his career. Mm-hmm. Who's going to sign him for 3 to 4 years? Somebody desperate. That's what's it's going to be like a Memphis or he's not going there. So to me, take that 44 mil, but the thing is that the long-term stability is probably what he's looking for. So I don't know. LA, that's like, I think that's a pipe dream that we want to see as fans to see the three amigos link up and with AD, but I just don't see that. Phoenix is his home right now.
I do too. This is too early predictions, anyways. Like we're just spitballing shit. I know. I'm trying to think like off the top of my head of all the free agents that are out there. I know Schroeder is going to be demanding money.
100 mil. So I got a list pulled up of some of the top free agents. So we got Conley, Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, John Collins, Lonzo Ball, Duncan Robinson, Devontae Graham. So a lot of good guard play. Marketing, Taylor Horton Tucker, he's staying in LA.
Yeah,
so there's some good guard play in there.
I think Horton Tucker could take over Schroeder's role, in my opinion.
But that's as a starter?
No. Off the bench is what he should be. You should
Schroeder's a starter though.
I know, but what should he have been?
Off the bench. But who would be their starting point guard?
Yeah. Run without.
You know who I think? And we talking free agency? Are we talking free agency?
Yeah, we can talk a little free agency.
Yeah, we just skipped over the Suns. Listen, Devin Booker, you'll be back. So, I don't know, but we were wrong to compare. I was wrong to compare to Kobe.
We talked about the Suns. It's very short story.
I just want to say, because I was on this whole bandwagon. I'm like, yo, that's Kobe. He's a long way from that, but it's his first NBA playoffs ever, and he made it to the NBA Finals and was within a game of winning the whole thing. So got to give him credit. So that's what I'm gonna say about the Suns. Now, if we're talking free agency, Lonzo Ball back to the Los Angeles Lakers, bro. If that happens, you want to talk about I would prefer to see Lonzo there rather than CP3. We talk about stories, right? We talk about Giannis' story was crazy, right? Lonzo came into the league and his dad ruined his life for a couple of years. Everybody wanted to kill him, and he was just, his mental was not right, right? I think he got a break going to New Orleans, staying under the radar, doing his thing. His free throw percentage is up to 78%. He's shooting 38% from three all of a sudden. His form is fixed. And I think he complements LeBron perfectly, right? So I think a reunion of Lonzo and LeBron would be the free agency signing I would prefer to see.
What if they sign and trade him for Kuzma?
Well, Kuzma's out of there, but
yeah, Kuzma's gone.
Don't need because Lonzo's a free agent. Just sign him, and then Kuzma. I don't know where the hell he's going. They might send him. They might send him to the Gunyang Tigers in China. He gonna play where Stephon Marbury played.
You see, like all the gifts they have of like the kid waking up in prison and the guards walking him out. Like that's how Kuzma's gonna get escorted out of LA by.
Kuzma about to get ran out of LA. Nobody wants him there no more. No, I'm not even talking players and staff. If the fans don't want you, bro, all he's worried about is his Cisco hair and getting on these females.
He said it before. He's too like pretty boy-esque. Like that's not gonna win for you, man. Like. Get it together. Play the game you love.
He be hanging out with Ben Simmons too much. Right? They be worrying about going out with models and going to Wimbledon and stuff.
Yeah.
Jenner sisters. You know what I mean? But to me, Lonzo would be a good signing for LA. Mike Conley apparently is a free agent. I think he stays in Utah.
I think he could too. I think he saw what happened there, the potential.
Kyle Lowry is a tricky one.
Kyle Lowry's a tricky one. We know he won't be back with Toronto.
No, he's done. He's done over there.
Yeah, they're going young.
I think Philly really wants him, but he probably end up in Miami, and him and Jimmy Butler would be perfect. They'll just be, annoying with each other because you know how they're just, they do a lot of talking and a lot of just you know what I mean. I think that would be a perfect little pair. So I think Miami could be an option for Kyle Lowry.
Miami's always a dark horse to sign good players, man. Like
always.
Very attractive. Very attractive.
It's Pat Riley, bro. Like he got a little mob mentality hair.
That's the man.
He's like Jerry West. They just cool.
Could you see players getting traded? Like if you had to think of one big time player getting traded, who would you think?
Dame's on the clock.
Dame is on the clock. We know Dame time's all.
So I don't know. That's the big one. You know who I think can get traded, but it wouldn't happen in the offseason. Probably, I don't know. I think Draymond Green.
Think Draymond?
I think Draymond Green is. Huh?
Think it's time to walk on from Draymond?
I think they can't find anybody who's going to give him his production per se, but they can find somebody cheaper than him that can give them a lot of what he gives. You know what I mean? Like Charles Barkley calls him He's a triple single. He'll get you 8 rebounds. He'll get you 8 rebounds, 8 assists, and 8 points. You can find somebody cheaper that can get you 6 rebounds, play pretty good defense and score a couple threes. Like you can get somebody who can do that. So I think Draymond is a name to look at where, I think Dame definitely can be on the move as far as a big time player. Draymond, and then Ben Simmons. It's like I don't know, bro. I think so, but Daryl Morey wants an all-star back. So
I think if the Wizards don't right the ship this year, man, I think somebody's going there. Either it's Westbrook or it's Beal. One of the two are gonna go.
It'd behoove them for it to be Beal because he's younger, and Westbrook's probably gonna start ring chasing soon. But maybe not. Westbrook's different. He would not ring chase.
I don't feel like he would, but I think if they don't right the ship there, I think somebody's got to move. They got
one of those two.
Yeah, that would be mine. Obviously, Dame time. We know where he's loyal to them, but if there's going to be something that they just pitch to him and he's like, "Well, get me out of here," then so be it.
Right.
End of the era, we'll see. But a lot of interesting things are going to happen in this NBA season. So, all right, you want to give some early prediction, or what about even draft? We can talk draft too, like quick little rundown of anything.
I mean, who was your favorite player in the draft?
I don't really care.
I mean, so to me,
actually, my favorite guy is Suggs from Gonzaga. I like him a lot.
Okay, so we got, to me, the top three. I know Mobley is projected to go third from USC, but to me, it's Cade Cunningham, Jalen Suggs, and Jalen Green from the G League. Huh?
The 2 D League guys.
Exactly. So
there's like 5 good players in this that are coming out. Top 5.
It could be, how like we look back at Trae Young's draft. I'm like, man, that's actually a pretty good draft. It was DeAndre Ayton, it was Trae Young. Bagley is not a bad player. He's just in a bad situation.
Everybody in Sacramento. Just don't go to Sacramento. Sacramento.
No, Sacramento is a cesspool, but it's just terrible over there.
San Jose or San Francisco, man.
To me, this could be a draft where it's kind of similar to that, where like a few years from like, damn, these guys already. So like Cade Cunningham is going to be a good player. Jalen Suggs is going to be a good player. Jalen Green is going to be a good player.
So getting out of the players, there's like rumblings I know of trading for the first pick with Detroit. I know Cleveland wants it.
Why would Detroit trade that pick?
Houston wants it. I mean, what if you got 3 first-round picks for the next 3 years?
They need someone that they can sell. They need to get people to come back to the stadium and watch them play. A. B, they need to get like they have to go young. To me, this draft, the first 3 players or 4 players aren't available. I mean, they're gonna get Cade Cunningham. To me, Cade Cunningham is ready. Like he's ready to have a stellar rookie season. I've seen comparisons where people compare him to Jason Tatum. I've seen comparisons to Luka Doncic extreme. So I'm like, you got somebody like that, don't trade him. Like, what do you want from Cleveland?
But do you think they could trade it or no?
No, they're not gonna trade it.
Because we've seen number one picks be traded before.
This pick will not be traded. To me, the biggest threat to make trades in the top 10 is Golden State, and Orlando, because they got 2. Orlando probably not, but Orlando just doesn't draft well to me. Like they get lucky with a Shaq and they get lucky with a Dwight, but outside of that, it's like
they were first overall though.
Yeah, but this sort of they got lucky with those, right?
Yeah, they also first overall pick is a clear shot unless you end up not playing them.
Unless you draft Greg Oden over Kevin Durant.
Yeah. Well, to Greg Oden's defense, we didn't know it was going to be that bad.
I saw Greg Oden playing in the Big 3 this weekend.
Yeah.
Ice Cube's league. I was like, at least he's still playing basketball. He looks.
DeAndre Ayton look older than him.
They look about the same age now. But yeah, like to me, they can't mess with Cade. I think Houston probably goes Jalen Green. You can't mess with him. He's got G League experience. So to me, he's already ahead of the curve. He's already played with people who have been professionals or are professionals. So it's to me, I don't think you'll see probably Golden State move. You probably see Cleveland do something, or Toronto, like one of those two will probably, but nothing. I don't think anything crazy. I don't think we'll see anything too crazy. I think it's gonna go kind of according to plan and keep it moving.
Yeah, I miss the crazy draft nights for like we're waiting in there and we see, what was it? The Clippers trade Elton Brand for the rights to, who was it? Tyson Chandler. I'm like, yo, Eddie Curry and Tyson Chandler. Like, Jesus, man, that's insane. Back to back. So yeah, it would be interesting to see something. I don't really anticipate anything crazy happening either, but I feel like the Rockets are always poised to be good and they'll go sign like a big superstar and then wait a little bit and then they find like everything comes into fruition. So maybe with more or whoever, who's the new GM over there? Morey's not there anymore, is he? He's gone.
No, Morey's with Philly now.
That's right. Who's the new GM? Whoever the new GM is,
Frittata or something like that.
I don't know, man, but I feel like if anyone were to trade up to number one, I feel like Houston would.
Raphael Stone.
Maybe he's stoned and wants to make a big trade. Who knows?
Never heard of him.
Heard of him. That's cool. You want to give early predictions for different awards or?
Nah, not awards. Nah. Luka Doncic is gonna be the MVP.
You say Luka, I say KD.
Okay, I got Luka.
I say KD is just mad. He's just he's hooping right now as we speak.
But the thing is that KD is gonna have Kyrie and James Harden there taken from his stats. Luka got nobody. Luka got nobody over there. It's just him and a bunch of guys that know their roles, except for KP.
I hope they sign somebody big next year.
Oh, that's the trade. Kristaps is on the move.
Kristaps is gone.
Kristaps is on the move.
Yeah, they keep saying the talk over there, but we all thought they were buddies and shit like that, but I don't think they're buddies.
Man, Kristaps, look, he was a number 6 overall pick. In his head, he's like, he's that dude, you know what I mean? So, and he should feel like that, but Luka, he needs to understand his role. Like, look, I know I can be good if I'm healthy, but that dude, Luka, I'm going to defer to him. See, that's Milwaukee. Chris Middleton knows he can go drop 40, but he knows Giannis is the guy. And you don't see him complaining, begging for the ball, feeling like he's never too high, never too low. And back to Milwaukee, remember the playoff? I think the playoffs started, and they were asking Giannis, how he's going to approach the playoffs. And he said, he's like, don't get too high, don't get too low. That whole team identify. It's like with them with that. Like they kept that even keel the whole way. I mean, down 0-2 to come back and win, even keel the whole way. But yeah, Kristaps, he's not even keel because he doesn't understand that Luka's the dude, bro. He's the guy.
Yeah, he's got to go. He's just got to go. I feel bad, but you know where I can see him doing well? Los Angeles, bro. Put him with the Lakers.
The Lakers?
I bet you LeBron can.
Hell no. He'd probably be better suited for the Clippers, not the Lakers.
I bet you LeBron can mold that boy.
Why would they want another player that's always injured? AD is always injured. You don't want your two bigs would not be on the court ever at the same time. You think LeBron at his 37-year-old age, he just saved the world in Space Jam. You think he wants to deal with old ass AD who's 30, but he plays like he's 50 because his knees is always hurt. And Kristaps, bro.
A gamble, and I hear the link to it. That's all I know, and I think it would be a good fit.
I heard they were linked to Damian Lillard. They don't got the bricks in their pocket to get Damian Lillard.
Everybody's freaking linked to everybody.
No, it's really just a few. They had New York, LA, both LA teams, Miami.
Don't say New York because it's never gonna happen. The day it happens, like
Zion on the way.
Zion ain't coming. Bro.
Zion on the way to play with his RJ.
Julius Randle is wasting his time, and then we'll get rid of him, and we'll just crap all over again. So we'll wait and see. Let's switch basketball talk. Let's go to Olympic disaster. Everybody knows that the Olympics are like on the fritz right now. There's COVID breaks going on in Japan, harsh living conditions in the Olympic Village. Like, don't forget, some of these players are millionaires too. They're millionaires living in like these little shitty barracks or bunkers, whatever they are,
with cardboard boxes.
Yeah.
What in tarnation is that?
Exactly. So first question is, I guess, do you expect the Olympics to happen this year?
Yeah, it's too late to cancel last second. They said don't rule it out. They said don't rule out a last minute cancellation. Listen, They've already soccer is already women's soccer already started. U.S. lost to Sweden, unfortunately. So and and softball, a softball game already happened.
Skateboarding too.
Skateboarding happened.
Skateboarding's in the Olympics.
No, yo, you remember William Campbell and Tony Hawk Pro Skater, the black guy?
Mm-hmm.
That's the guy I always play with. I'm gonna play with Tony Hawk. I'm gonna play with the black guy. Who else am I gonna play with? But damn, I wish I would have known that. That's extreme game stuff. But yeah, so the Olympics already started, and the opening ceremony is 2 days from now. Now, I don't know how that's gonna work. I'm so used to the Olympics being this spectacle is beautiful. When they lighten up the torch, it's the most beautiful thing ever. And they're not even allowing fans to watch this. So this might be some. It might be. It's going to be like the bubble when we watch. We sat ourselves and forced ourselves in 2020 to watch the NBA playoffs in the bubble, and how just weird it was to see screens of people and fans. It's going to be just like that. It's going to be weird. People are going to be sleeping on cots and eating bologna sandwiches, but it's a month long. You in, you out. You get the hell out of there.
Yeah, I think it's as good as all go right now too. But
Devin Booker, Drew Holiday, and Chris Middleton are already on that private jet, awkwardly sitting next to each other on their way to Tokyo as we speak. So.
The most awkward flight, man. The most awkward flight, man.
I would love to be a fly on that wall. D Book got his headphones in, sitting in the back. Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton popping champagne, celebrating on FaceTime with Giannis.
Hey, you want some of this?
Hey, bro. Hey, never mind. You stay back there.
But yeah, I think the Olympics are good to go. It's crazy with a country like, so like in Asia, I'm not trying to play stereotypes or anything like that. I'm just going by what I see and all the different illnesses that they have over there, that a lot of people do wear masks over there.
More so in China, because the air quality is not good in China.
Yeah, the air quality sucks there. But even in Japan, the air quality is like so as well.
I don't see it. I don't see it too much in Japan. Now you gotta keep in mind, Tokyo is a rich city, and Japan is it's not like it's a poor country. They're not like the typical, just dirt everywhere, because it's not the United States, and everyone assumes anywhere but the United States is dirt. It's not like that. They got money over there. Everything, a lot of stuff comes from Tokyo and Japan and stuff like that.
But like the living conditions, like you couldn't build a better Olympic city for these people to stay.
That part, I'm pretty sure COVID messed a lot of that up, because you realize when they do bring the Olympics or the World Cup in soccer to a host city, for example, Brazil, they put billions of dollars into the infrastructure and build hotels and buildings and stadiums and stuff like that in a matter of 4 years, because they know they had it 4 years ago. I think COVID hit, and a lot of their production and construction probably slowed the hell down for a few months. They probably lost a few guys and a few women who were probably working, and they probably just ran out of time, honestly, because think about it, COVID's been around on this side of the world since technically like January 2020. COVID's been in the other hemisphere since like November 2019. October 2019. So it's been around for a while, a lot longer over there. So they've been kind of in the shits for the last 2 years, if you think about it. So they probably just ran out of time, honestly. And they didn't have enough bodies to just want to keep doing labor and building, or enough contractors to build the buildings or build a better condition for that many people that they anticipate coming through. So, it's like one of those things, like I said, like with the bubble, they did a good job as a resort, but like you gotta let me think about it. Yes, some of these guys are professionals, but a lot of these are kids. They're like 16, 17, 18, like the gymnastics, sailing, they're probably like 19, 20. A lot of these swimmers are like 6. It's just you're just staying at a AAU place. They stay in a little Motel 6 or a hotel. So now a lot of these guys that are there don't have these big egos where like they're used to fine dining and all that stuff. So to me, if you want to represent your country and you want to bring back some hardware, you're gonna have to just go through these conditions, and you can talk about it in your autobiography for 8 years from now.
So do you think like the Olympic Committee fucked this up again, like pushing this too soon? And
What could they have done? What could they have done in your opinion?
well, if we look at it from a construction standpoint, if stuff isn't physically ready to go, I mean, there's a halt right there. I know we say the Olympics every 4 years, but you said it. We all know it. Whenever they have the Olympics or hosting the World Cup or hosting a big event that the entire world is invited to into a certain region, they pump a lot of money into it. And I know COVID has definitely played its part into this, but once again, this is kind of like the NBA rushing into things. You're rushing into an Olympics now because, oh, it's 4 years. We got to get going. Or it was supposed to be last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was supposed to be last year.
It's supposed to be last year.
So that's the thing. Like, it was supposed to be last year. If they can't move it past 2021 because if it's 2022, a lot of people doing the World Cup, a lot of doing the FIBA championships, they're doing the FIFA championships, they're doing all these different things. They plan it specifically for this reason to be every 4 years. It's like the perfect time. So if they somehow have to fast forward it, then you're doing an Olympics in 2022, and then you're doing another one in 2024.
When's the last time? When's the last time Tokyo hosted the Olympics? You know,
couldn't tell you. I mean, I can ask my analyst, my researcher.
Ask him really quick.
I'm gonna ask my researcher, but to me,
I'm sure there's Olympic Village built already that you can definitely modify.
I don't remember them ever being. They've never been in Tokyo. I don't think they've ever been in Tokyo, to be honest with you. Yeah, historically, I mean, I haven't seen it. It's not showing on here. So my analyst got back to me.
He said the shit don't add up.
He said something is not adding up. But yes, 1964.
Okay, so it's very outdated, if anything.
1964. This is like, right after World War II, and there's in between the Cold War and Korean War, just having a lot of stuff was going on in the 1960s and 50s and stuff like that. So yeah, that infrastructure is not the same.
Japan ain't having a good rap at that point either. So yeah, man, I don't know. I just think like sometimes you have to bite the bullet on stuff, and money is the root of all evil. I get that there's so much money behind this, but if you're sending your best out there for each country and they're sleeping on cardboard cots and things like that.
But can you imagine the amount of money they've lost in the last year and a half? They had the money, but they don't have the money anymore because they're paying for hospital beds and paying for the capacity and paying for vaccines and paying for this and paying for that. So the money is not just going to drop out of thin air. Like, the money probably was there, but the budget changed.
Yeah,
the budget changed for something more important.
I don't know the lay of the land of Tokyo or Japan or any of that shit, but I just feel like, I don't know, man. I feel like the Olympics are they're hiccuping a lot of stuff right now, from not sending homegirl over there with that little incident, and the way the infrastructure is right now and the living conditions and all of that, and the outbreak of stuff. It's just sometimes you got to bite the bullet on stuff, or take a page from the NBA and find a way to do a bubble in different places. Like, find a place.
How many people you think they can? We talk about the whole world. They can't get in the whole world in no damn bubble. The Olympics enough is a bubble. Like, they Olympic villages are built to be a bubble as it is. There's no way you can confine them any more than they're already confined, because they already gave them the ground rules. You can't leave Olympic Village for the first 14 days that you're there. Blah blah blah. They've already laid down the groundwork. Fans are not there.
Find the guy who does the analytics for baseball and throw him into this mix.
I would not trust him with that many people. I don't trust analytics. I'm not going to trust him with the whole world. I'm not going to trust him with the whole world.
I just think once again, it's just we're rushing stuff and we're not looking for people's safety, and we just want to put something on TV for you to watch. And it's that time we need to do it. But
it's not put people. They want the money.
I know that, but if
that's the whole point. They need this.
We know that, but if you're not checking out the boxes, I just think like it's like cookie cutting shit. Don't cookie cut shit just so you can put them on TV. Like you cookie cut shit, your building falls down. Look at the shit that happened in Miami where the building fell because they didn't build shit right. Cookie cut shit, make a place look nice, it's gonna crumble. Make everything look nice, shit's gonna crumble sometime. I'm personally thinking that if they were to just stop midway through it, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they stop with it.
I mean, I remember all the COVID cases we were getting during the NBA season and the NFL season, and everyone kept saying they need to pause. Did they pause? Hell
No,
no. Kept
but
the
they
shit
just keep
going. The,
they have
the,
bubbles.
the gravy train keeps going. It's always gonna keep. So remember in the college baseball World Series, what school is it that had to get withdrawn because of COVID?
I don't remember.
It was it was in the semifinal, I believe, and they had a COVID case outbreak or whatever, and they got withdrawn from the college baseball World Series, and the team that they were supposed to Vanderbilt, I believe it was.
No,
They were.
Vanderbilt the
It was
finals.
either they're playing. So whoever I don't remember. Long story short, that they're not gonna stop the whole Olympics because of the COVID outbreak. They're gonna they're gonna nicely remove the person that has the COVID and say, sir or ma'am, you cannot be here anymore. And it'll be keep it moving, guys. You gotta play with 4 players on the NBA on the basketball court. Play with 4 players. If you only got 2 gymnasts, I hope it's Simone Biles. I don't. It's going. Nothing's going to change, man. Nothing's going to change.
Yeah, I don't know. The way I see
And really quick, guys. So right now, our 2 favorite baseball teams are playing baseball against each other. It's the Phillies versus the Yankees. Torres has hit a solo home run, so it's now 2-1 Phillies. In case anybody cares, but continue, sir.
I just think like if you have certain events that you can host in a certain area, you create a bubble out of those certain events. So like if I'm just throwing things that if track and field is all played in the same area that the shot put and all that is, you bubble those guys in
Yeah,
one,
it's Phil. So that they would all be together. Yeah.
and you bubble them in certain things like that. That's the kind of bubble I mean, not like one giant bubble that you guys have these guys under.
But
Just
I'm pretty sure they're probably already doing that. They're taking those precautions already.
I don't know. I guess I didn't do my research too much to talk on this. So.
But the problem is that still, it's the majority of the teams that are there, it's under like their 80% vaccination thing. So, and then there's already an outbreak that's happening in Japan as we speak again. So that's the problem. And they don't have any control over any of that though. So all that they control, all that they can't control is take care of our little area that our players are going to be at, make sure that they're following and adhering to the rules. And as long as they're doing that, I mean, that's all they can do at this point. I mean, at this point, you already postponed it for a year. You got people who've already flown all the way across the world. I mean, the flight from Milwaukee to Tokyo is not 5-10 hours. That's a 15 to 20 to 24-hour flight. That's a long time. So you already got guys that are flying over there, money invested in people being over there. You have all these ads and commercials that already scheduled to air. Toyota being one of those, I've heard. A lot of ads are already ready to, they've already spent the money. Like, look, we got to do these ads 30 seconds. Nike's going to have something. Gatorade's going to have something. You know how it is. Yeah. They've already spent the money to get everyone over there. They're not going to stop it on a dime like that. It's impossible. It's just, they're going to have to keep the gravy train going no matter what.
All I can say is somebody's getting fired.
And and you'll never know who it is, and they'll get replaced. And the new president of the IOC will be Dan Fouts. I don't know. Like exactly. We'll keep it going.
All right, man. Well, whatever. We're excited to watch the Olympics. I'm excited to see how Team USA does in all sports across everything.
As long as we dominate gymnastics.
Oh, Simone Biles.
AKA man. Simone Biles, do your thing, girl. As long as we do that, man, I'm cool. I don't know about Team USA basketball. Keldon Johnson and JaVale McGee. See that part? I don't know what to tell you on that.
Bro, I don't know either.
I think if I was a gambling man, I wouldn't put all my money into that. Absolutely no way. That's a way. I'm sacrificing money at that point. But they could very well go and win it easily, right? But JaVale McGee and Keldon Johnson.
That's the best we could send.
Keldon Johnson's not a bad player though. I mean, I think he was first team all rookie or second team. You remember we did we looked at the rookie selection. You're like, who the hell's Keldon Johnson? I was like, he's a decent player for San Antonio. And now look, he's in the Olympics.
He's so great. He's going to the Olympics.
He's going to the Olympics.
Whatever. All right, let's wrap up the show. Our fun segment today is going to be Since the Krakens did their draft, expansion draft, we're gonna give our top 5 best expansion teams of all time.
You know what we need when we get into our fun segment? We need like a tune, like people send us tunes that we can use to get us ready for the fun segment. Because A-Rod was was looking at this like he wasn't excited to do this fun segment. Now I'm excited, so we need a tune to get us, something crazy to get us, excited for the fun segment. So I'll let y'all decide that. Maybe we'll get some sponsorship, and I'll hit up like TNT or something. They can come up with something for me. But
he just talks a lot out of his ass, but I'm okay.
But the top 5 expansion teams of all time. Can I go first?
Yeah, you want to go 5, 4, 3? Just us rattle them off.
I'm gonna just name them all 5 through 1.
Okay.
So my number 5 greatest expansion team of all time, the Toronto Raptors. Now, basketball was introduced to Canada with the Vancouver Grizzlies and the Toronto Raptors. Vancouver did not survive the introduction of basketball to the country, and now they're the Memphis Grizzlies now. Toronto survived. Their fans are crazy. They got Drake on the sideline now, so that's hella money poured into that program. They just recently played in Tampa, which is awesome. But makes me tell you that Tampa Bay will be the next expansion team for basketball. Seattle needs a team as well. The Supersonics need to come back. But anyway, Toronto, to me, if they won a championship finally, so to me, Toronto, that's number 5. Okay, number 4. I actually swapped my number 3 and number 4. My number 4, shout out to the hometowns, the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, the Tampa Bay Rays have not been in the MLB as long as a lot of these teams in the MLB. They just came around in the 90s. Everyone tells me they remember going to the first game and blase, right? The Tampa Bay Rays are the class of the AL lately. Like they in the last 13 years they've been to the World Series twice now. They're constantly at the top or battling for the top in the AL East. They figured out how to play money ball and spend $60 million a year while other teams are spending $400 and still be relevant. So they've mastered the money ball. We got to give a shout out to the American League East. Second best for now, but about to be first best. I'm actually going to the Red Sox game on August 1st. So hopefully by then the Rays overtake the Red Sox. So that's my number 4. Shout out to Evan Longoria, OG, Madden, OG, Carl Crawford and BJ Upton, the OG, Wade Boggs, the OGs. Shout out to all the OGs and then shout out to the new dudes. Shout out to my boy Ben Zobrist. That was my favorite player at that time. So shout out to all the Rays. Number 3, the tragic story of the Baltimore Colts being moved out of Baltimore in a Mayflower van. Baltimore is now left with no team. They just sit there like, wow, we don't have a team. And in comes the Baltimore Ravens. And who did the Baltimore Ravens get early? They get Ray Lewis. Then they get Air Reed. Then they get Shannon Sharp. Then they get this, that, and the third. Next thing you know, they've won a Super Bowl within 5 years. An expansion team in Baltimore, after the heartbreak of losing the Colts, are now Super Bowl champions quickly, right? Since then, they've won another Super Bowl. They've had legends in Baltimore, and Lamar Jackson's building his legacy right now. Ray Lewis, we all know, greatest linebacker of all time. Ed Reed, arguably the greatest safety of all time. They've had running backs galore. Baltimore has been an exciting team to watch. Baltimore Ravens, that's my number 3. My number 2, Tampa Bay Lightning. Got to shout out the hometown again. Tampa Bay Lightning. They've been an excellent franchise since they came in 1993. 3 Stanley Cups, 04, and now back-to-back. And look, when I was first living in Detroit, I was a Red Wing fan. Don't get me wrong. I moved to Orlando, and I was like, oh, there's a team close by. At first, I thought it was the Solar Bears, but that's our minor league team. I was like, oh, there's a Lightning. And I started watching the Lightning. 04, they won. I was like, yeah, I'm a Lightning fan. So, yeah, I'm a bandwagon fan, but from 17 years ago, and I've been watching them ever since. Got to shout out the Tampa Bay Lightning. They've been holding it down for the city. If you go to downtown right now, it's being completely rebuilt. Why? Because of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Vinnick money.
Vinnick, exactly. And of course, Bill Gates put in like a couple billion himself as well. But they're all doing this, and the success of the Tampa Bay Lightning is part of the reason why. Okay. Number one, the Miami Heat.
You're gonna take my talents to South Beach.
My Miami Heat, the South Beach Miami Heat, Heatles. Like, they've been in the league since 1989, if I'm not mistaken. Also, just like the Lightning, three world championships. One with the mayor, D Wade, and one with the King, LeBron James. Or two with the King, LeBron James. But if you look at their history, they've always been a good team. They were part of the rivalry that was in the 90s with the Knicks and the Charlotte Hornets and the Pacers and the Bulls, where it was a logjam. You saw the best fights. We saw Jeff Van Gundy being drugged through the court. We've seen it all with the Heat. Tim Hardaway, Ronnie Cycli, Glenn Rice. I mean, they've had an exciting.
Dan Marley,
Eddie Jones got there eventually. It's been exciting, guys. It's been exciting. So Miami Heat, mind you, they had the 1B or 1A, whatever he wants to be, to Michael Jordan on their team for a few years, and they went to 4 straight NBA Finals. They got to the finals again with Jimmy Butler. They keep the tradition going. I got the Heat as my number one team.
All right. We got a lot of the same things.
Okay.
I don't have the Rays in mind, though. The Rays.
Because you a hater, bro.
I'm not a hater. The Diamondbacks have a better argument than the Rays.
The only reason why I put, look, the Rays,
I get
all the teams I put on my team won a championship. The Rays have not. So I was actually skeptical to put the Rays on there. But you got to give it to them, bro. They figured out this Moneyball shit.
I get it. I give them that. They figured out the Moneyball thing, but they'd be in my top 10, but they're not my top 5.
I can respect that.
So my 5th, even the Diamondbacks aren't in it either. Diamondbacks would be on the outside looking in. So my 5th team, even though they historically suck, in the short time that they've been around for, have won 2 championships.
Marlins?
And the Yankees, the Marlins.
I was between the Rays and the Marlins, but I was like, dog, the Marlins had 2 playoff appearances and they won 2 World Series just like that. But they've spent more time sucking than those 2 random. They've sent all their best players to other teams. Think about it. They've had an amazing group of players that played there, and they're all on different teams. So to me,
they develop talent and then they get moved is what happens. And then it's wash and repeat again. But now that Jeter's there and they went to the playoffs last year, I mean, they're not going to go this year.
That playoffs was not real, bro. It was like 18 teams that got there.
That was. But still, I mean, regardless, it's in the playoffs. So
whatever.
I'm putting the Marlins there. You know, you beat the Indians that year. Once again, they had a team of good players that just gelled well, and then of course they became superstars once they left. The Gary Sheffields, who else was there? The Conines, the Moises Alous, the Levon Hernandezes. All those guys became big name players when they went on.
But that second one,
they
had Dontrell Willis. They had Pudge. You know how I feel about JT Realmuto now? At that time, that's how I felt about Pudge. Like I've always been a fan of catchers. So.
Yeah, me too. I played catcher, so when I played baseball, so Ivan Rodriguez has always been a favorite of mine too. But just Juan Pierre there doing his thing was really good too. You got to see a really good team take down the Yankees, and yeah, I was mad, but it's baseball. I love baseball at the end of the day.
And my dog Dontrell Willis was swaggy with it.
He was, man. That high leg. And then Miguel Cabrera and him. That was Miguel Cabrera's first World Series.
He broke out.
He got a ring, but he didn't play in the World Series. So
he broke out after that.
Yep. My number 4 is the Toronto Raptors. Yeah, they just won a championship recently, but they produced 2 Rookies of the Year, and Rookie of the Year in '95 during their expansion was Damon Stoudemire.
Oh, yeah. Touche. And then we got to talk about that slam dunk contest that Vince Carter put Toronto on the map. Mm-hmm. Vince Carter honestly made it cool to play for the Raptors. Think about it. He made it cool to play up there.
They had really good drafts. They drafted Damon Stoudemire, Tracy McGrady, Marcus Camby, Vince Carter, Chris Bosh. They draft well. So you can't.
DeMar DeRozan. Don't disrespect
DeMar DeRozan. Yeah, they go and get the good players that they need. So my 3 I'm looking at my list right now. My 3 would be the Baltimore Ravens too. In the short time period that they came into the league, they've been dominant, drafting well, producing some of the best defenses you've seen.
They don't have
MVP,
losing seasons in Baltimore.
they don't.
It
They
was
don't.
super rare.
It's very rare. And then their head coaching is always stagnant with one head coach for a very, very long time.
That's
They're
because
very well.
they've had a black GM for a long time until recently, Ozzie Newsome. I'm just
Yeah.
saying he can do the job, guys. Anyway.
Exactly. But I put Baltimore there too. My 3, my number 2 is the Tampa Bay Lightning. You have to put them there. They're just so freaking good in the short time frame that they have. They put a good team out for the last like 5 or 6 years. Yes, some pieces have left, but some have come in, and they're finding Vasilevsky, which is the greatest thing ever.
Beautiful.
That guy's lights out, the best goalie in hockey. So you have him. You have 3 championships back to back. They should have won the year before and probably won the year before.
They had the greatest regular season of all time
and lose first round.
Lose in the first round.
Makes no sense. But Gord is gone. Gord is to the expansion draft to the Kraken.
Damn, Gord was my guy.
Everybody thought it was Tyler Johnson, but it's Gord. So that sucks. But they're my number 2, and of course number 1. You got to put the Miami Heat.
The Heatles.
You got arguably
South Beach.
one of the best shooting guards of all time, winning it with Shaq, the most dominant player, coming to the end of his dominance, but knowing his role, saying that D Wade was like his Kobe and letting D Wade shine. Then you get the big 3 introduced, and we should have seen not 1, not 2, not 3, but we should have had all those finals won by them just slaughtering everybody in the NBA.
If LeBron would have stayed, they would have got to 8 straight finals. Think about it. He got to 4 straight there, got to 4 straight in Cleveland. They would have got to 8 straight finals with LeBron there.
And when the Heat suck, they suck for a very short period of time.
Yeah.
Like, they go through a rebuilding phase and then
slow. It's like a quick rebuild, though. It's not like a.
When we saw that team put around Jimmy Butler, we were all like, this ain't gonna be that.
Finals? Like, they made it to the finals.
Duncan Robinson is like a team, is like a player teams are targeting now. Like, he made his name for himself just on that streak. He's a good player.
He gonna get money. He gonna get money this year.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not going to be an all-star. He's at best in the 3-point competition.
Listen, he's the type of person that Milwaukee will go get, and he'll play his role perfectly.
Exactly. You know what? You know who Duncan Robinson is? He's the same player as like Ryan Anderson to me.
No, he's Kyle Korver.
When Ryan Anderson was young, he was a baller, bro.
He was
balling with Orlando. He was balling with Houston, wherever he was.
He was good with Orlando. He was really good with Orlando.
The Nuggets is where he first started off with.
Yeah,
he was balling there. I was like, okay, this boy's kind of nice. And then he just started balling. I was like, Jesus,
he had that J.
That's his ceiling to me. Is Ryan Anderson, but the slam dunk contest winner with Harold Miner, like they've got swag. The Heat. You want to play for the Heat.
You got Two Live Crew, Uncle Luke over there just chilling. Yeah, you get stars at the game every night. I mean, come on.
The fans are fair weather, but like stars are there.
They don't show up in the first quarter. They'll slowly get there in the second with their little margaritas and cocktails and stuff. J-Lo gonna be in the stands in all white, looking beautiful. It's a beautiful slow before they get there. But once they're there and they got them all whites on and Ray Allen. Oh, Bosh. Oh, LeBron. Oh, he missed. Tap to Allen. Bang! You don't get that.
I just wanted one bang during the finals. We didn't
yeah, he was like, it's good. It's good.
Like, just say fucking bang.
Just bang.
That's all I want to hear, man. That's what I wanted to hear.
Chris Middleton should have got a bang last night.
We should have got one last night, man. That's all I want. I tweeted that shit too. I was like, come on, man.
But Mike Breen, you gotta give it. Mike Breen is dope, though. Like we're losing Marv Albert now, which sucks. So all we have left is Mike Breen. Kevin Harlan's pretty good, but we're losing Marv Albert. So Mike Breen, we gotta cherish him.
I'm okay with Marv Albert leaving. Just give Mike Breen more time, man. Like, give Mike Breen more time.
But Mike Breen is the reason why he is your fault because he does the Knicks games. So he does the Knicks games on Yes, and then he does the ESPN games on like Sunday or Saturday night primetime where it's Mark Jackson and Jeff. But
I'm starting a hashtag free Mike Breen.
No, he's perfect for the Knicks though. He's
I like him. I love him for the
Knicks. He's honestly now to me for basketball games between Mike Breen and Kevin Harlan, tough. I'd probably go Breen.
I would.
But then I got to listen to Mark Jackson preach and then Jeff Van Gundy says some off the wall stuff.
I like them, man. They're like two grumpy old men. And I'm
No,
cool
they're
with
the
that.
perfect trio, bro. But they're a perfect trio.
All right, let's wrap up the show, man.
Yeah.
Twitter, find us at fair_weather_pod. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, the Fair Weather Podcast. You can find us there and wherever you subscribe to Apple or Spotify, anywhere you listen to podcasts.
There's a lot of different ones that there's a lot of podcast places that y'all don't even know about.
We're there.
Subscribe on every single one of those. Why not? One subscribe per podcast app. Why not? It doesn't hurt nobody. It takes you 2 seconds. Smash that subscribe and like button, guys. Hey, shout out to my dog Giannis, and Bobby Portis, of course. And we go. Hey, listen, we got a big episode starting next week. We're getting into our NFL stuff. We got a special Tampa episode next week, and then we jumping right into NFL preview, NCAA preview. It's about to get litty up in this Bobby, bitch.
Yeah, we'll be having guests on too. So we got
every week, pretty much.
We're excited. We're excited for our next guest.
Some local studs. Peace.
Later.